Vaping, the new alternative to cigarettes. And in case you're wondering, you can't legally buy, own, or smoke one here in Singapore. But yet,
doors are closing.
More than 4,600 people in Singapore were caught in 2021. That's more than triple the number from the year before. And a third of these vapers caught were under the age of 18. In this two-part Talking Point special, I delve into the alluring world of vaping. Taking me from Singapore to Malaysia. I'm going to find out why teens are getting hooked, how they're getting their hands on vapes, and if this is the next smoking crisis on our hands. But first, I've invited 3 teenagers and their parents for a little quiz. Including my fellow Talking Point host, Steve.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
I'm
to meet you
Munah.
too.
I have a task for the both of you.
Okay.
Steve, you're going to start first.
Okay.
You see this table?
Yep.
Look for something that you think would
Okay.
arouse some sort of suspicion if you found it in her room. I've hidden 7 vapes in this desk. They've been loaned to us by Singapore's Health Sciences Authority.
Everything looks suspicious in here to me.
Makeup, I guess. But what she doesn't know is that her dad is unusual because he knows his makeup.
Are all these things.
Vape bar. Lighter, why would she have a lighter? Super glue.
All right. I think I've found a lot of things.
2 parents, including Steve, have picked out at least some vapes. The kids spot a few they missed,
Oh.
but no one found this one.
In a watch?
Yes, just like this.
Ah, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pop it out. There you go.
God.
I just thought it was a normal fitness watch.
Yeah, very deceiving, right? These are vapes, also known as
Yeah.
e-cigarettes. So if you saw this lying around in Lucy's room, would you think to take a second look at all?
No.
No,
No, I
right?
don't think so.
Do you know how they work?
Do you? I don't.
Well, okay, if we take this one for example, vapes have 3 basic components: a battery, a liquid compartment, and a heating coil. Once activated, the battery heats up the coil, which turns the liquid into vapor to be inhaled. These are the vapes I hid in the desk. Most of them don't look anything like an e-cigarette. Do you know anyone who vapes?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like every student or person in your school knows, but no actual authorities or teachers really know much about it.
Between vaping and smoking, which one do you think is worse?
Smoking.
Smoking.
I think smoking,
And why is that?
because I know they have tobacco and nicotine and stuff in it. While vapes, I don't think they have tobacco.
I think smoking.
Yeah, why is that?
It's got carcinogens and other stuff.
Actually, to be honest, I don't really know what is in the liquid in these vapes, so my first impression is that cigarettes would be more harmful. You don't have any at home, right? No. Because now I'm going to go home and look at your desk.
Also an intervention. Between smoking and vaping, most parents think vaping is the lesser of 2 evils. How concerned should we be about our kids vaping? The Health Sciences Authority has allowed me to send some of these confiscated vapes to a lab. I'm going to find out what our kids are inhaling. While waiting for the results, I want to talk to teenagers who vape. What is the allure of vaping? How are they getting their hands on these devices? Convincing them to come on national TV to talk about their illegal habits might be tricky. So I'm doing this instead. I'm going to talk to them virtually. Oh, where is this place? Where are they?
Hey,
Oh, hey! Hi! Let me join you guys here.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, of course.
I am meeting Tim, Michelle, and Kelly. How are you guys feeling? How old were you when you first started vaping?
I was 16. My brother is a smoker. Then when he bought his own vape, he asked me if I wanted to join in on his order. So I was just like, okay.
I was also like 16.
I actually started smoking cigarettes first in Sec 2. My dad, he actually tried to get me off cigarettes as well by buying me a vape.
Wow.
And then it didn't really help quit smoking cigarettes. I still smoke cigarettes and vape.
What is the appeal of vaping?
Just the smell. Because like smoking, like I feel like when I smoke, the smell lingers on my hand, like my fingertips and like my clothes and everything. But when I vape, like it just smells nice. Then and like the taste of it also is like palatable.
Are there different sort of types of liquids that go into the pods of these vapes?
Yes, super big menu now. And everything sounds so attractive because it's like peach oolong or like Fujian spice or something like that.
It's like buying a drink.
Yeah.
And what are your favorite flavors then?
There's just like one flavor that I really am like drawn to. It's like strawberry milk because it tastes like the Chupa Chup. Like
the lollipop.
Yeah, the lollipop.
So how often would you say that you guys...
Not many times.
24/7.
3 times
like when I go to sleep.
For me, it's like a habitual thing to vape just as I get up in the morning, like
Yeah.
before I take my morning shower. And then like, it's also become a weird habit to vape after every meal.
It's like a very conscious thing to kind of make sure that it's by your side at all times, by your table, beside your pillow. So wherever I go or whatever I'm doing, it's just beside me, like my pet. And then I just like vape it whenever. Yeah, it can be anywhere.
Have you guys ever vaped in public?
For me, I would say in school, in class, like sometimes I'll like feel like I need to take a smoke break, but like I can't leave the classroom.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
I'll just
in class.
I'll kind of like take a puff and then like blow it into like my bag or like blow it into my shirt.
Yeah.
Because like the smoke kind of like dissipates.
Yeah.
Like,
This
it
is
doesn't
between
smell.
classes, not while it's happening.
No, while it's happening, sometimes. Because I set the back of class, so like,
Okay.
but very discreetly so that my lecturer doesn't see me.
Yeah.
Or like cinema.
Oh yeah,
Cinema
before,
cinema.
yeah.
Just kind of like when the screen is dark, then you hit it at the side and then you're just like blowing it into your bag.
Oh, okay. Are you guys ever concerned about getting caught?
I mean, the fear of getting caught is there, but the thing is, with so many people doing it, it doesn't feel that bad. I don't feel the pressure from like the law that much because I see people around me like doing it as well.
Where do you guys get your vape devices and pods from?
Mostly Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram. When you make an order, usually they will come on like the same day.
Like it's easier to get a vape than for me to go out and buy cigarettes because I'm still underage. Like 7-Eleven, like you have like CCTV and stuff.
Yeah.
So much easier to get like a vape lah.
It's more accessible.
Yeah, more accessible.
Yeah.
How is it that something so contraband is so accessible by our kids? Telegram is the marketplace of choice, it seems. I'm diving in, and I don't like what I'm about to find out. I've just met 3 teenagers who started vaping from as young as 14, and others who know people who vape. Which is why Karen Lim, whose job scope involves getting kids to stop puffing, thinks she needs a change in her designation. Hello!
Hi, Munah.
Hi!
Hi, I'm Karen.
Nice to meet you, Karen.
Have a seat. Thank you.
Oh, wow! wow, your job scope has expanded. So you're seeing vapers now on top of smokers?
Yes, in the recent 1 to 2 years, due to COVID and circuit breaker, the number of vaping cases have been on the rise. Reason is because these youths, they actually cannot go out to smoke or actually get their cigarette supply, so they actually turn to vaping, where their products can be easily bought online and also it can be done indoors.
And who do you see more of now, smokers or vapers?
Currently, I would say the numbers are close to 50-50.
And these students that see you, they are the ones getting caught.
Yes,
right?
I'm actually situated in an institute of higher learning. Most of them are actually caught vaping in school toilets or in secluded areas of the school. Then a handful of them are caught vaping in their class, and also a group of them are actually caught vaping near the bus stop near the school.
What are the main reasons the students pick up vaping?
Firstly would be curiosity. Second would be peer influence, and lastly would be stress coping mechanism or stress relief. Another reason would be the cost. Some of them actually shared or mentioned to me that vaping is actually cheaper compared to smoking. So one box of cigarettes probably may cost them about $12 to $14, and for vaping, one pot can actually be probably maybe $12 per 3 pots, and one pot can actually last them for quite long. So compared to a cigarette smoking, this is actually much cheaper.
To find out why vapes are so easy for teens to get their hands on, I get in touch with the Health Sciences Authority, the agency in charge of enforcement. They tell me that in 2021, they removed more than 6,800 postings from platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Carousel. These sellers smuggled the vapes here via the 2 land checkpoints with Malaysia, as well as through mail. And some are changing up their tactics to avoid detection, even hiding vapes in lighting fixtures. It is so prevalent that the HSA conducted 33 raids across the island, including one that yielded its biggest haul yet.
More than $2.2 million worth of electronic vaporizers and components has been seized.
But it seems harder to crack down on Telegram sellers because of the anonymity offered by the chat group. I did a search for Singapore-based vape chat groups on Telegram and found about 10 of them. I've only been a part of these groups for a few hours, but I've already got thousands of messages waiting for me. They're all ads from different sellers competing for sometimes tens of thousands of customers in these chats. It's a huge range, as cheap as 8 Sing dollars for a vape, and 13 Sing dollars for a pot of Sakura grape or even charcoal roasted coffee flavored liquid. Pretty much all of them say it's delivery and cash only, and they don't sell to minors under 18. Some of these sellers give the impression that buying vapes is legal if you're 18. And then, I get an offer for some vape juice with something called THC. I'm shocked. Vape liquid laced with marijuana? So some vape pods being sold online are laced with drugs. Time to go check on the vape liquids we've sent for testing to find out what else they contain. Remember this? Between vaping and smoking, which one do you think is worse?
Smoking.
Smoking.
I think smoking.
Smoking.
Well, I'm going to find out how true that is. Singapore isn't the only country to take a hard stance on vaping. It's one of about 11 countries, including Cambodia, India, and Qatar, that ban both its sale and use. while nearly 40 other countries like Argentina, Brazil, and Uganda have made the sale of e-cigarettes illegal. But a handful of countries like the United Kingdom and New Zealand promote vaping as a way for smokers to kick the habit. So which is really the worst option? Smoking or vaping? I've sent 4 vapes that have been confiscated by authorities in Singapore to a lab. I'm testing for the exact components of the liquids.
Can you walk me through the process?
And the vaping products will connect it to a tube and to the machine. This machine is able to mimic human vaping behavior. And the aerosol will be collected and trapped in the liquid.
And the aerosol that goes through into the jar, it's what goes into your lungs?
Yes, it is what goes into the lung during one puff of vaping. The aerosol that is trapped in the liquid will then be extracted for instrumental analysis. Shall we go and have a look at the results now?
Sure, let's go. These are a lot of chemicals. Can you run me through what they are?
We have nicotine, which is the main chemical that is added to the formulation of the e-liquids. And we have glycerol and propylene glycol. These chemicals are regarded as safe for ingestion, but there's really very limited information available on their toxicity to the lungs. So we have benzoic acid and menthol, different types of flavoring agents from diacetyl, vanillin, and these are added to mask away the bitterness and to trick the user to inhale more nicotine unknowingly. Yeah.
And there's lead?
Yeah, because the heating device constitutes of a metal element, so lead somehow leach out during the heating process. We found a high amount of formaldehyde in the aerosol. Formaldehyde is actually a cancer-causing agent, and it is actually produced due to the reactions from the combination of chemicals.
Okay, so it's not even from the liquid itself, it's something that's generated from a mixture of what's in it already.
Yeah, that's right.
And any of these chemicals, are they found in cigarettes as well?
Yes, in fact, all these chemicals are also found in cigarettes smoke. And overall, for the aerosol, we found there are a lot of chemicals that we still do not know what is in there besides this.
In Singapore, smokers inhale an average of 1 milligram of nicotine per stick, while vape users inhale between 4 and 70 milligrams of nicotine from a vape pod, depending on its strength. That means a pod can contain up to 70 cigarettes worth. Vapes also contain many other harmful ingredients found in cigarettes, even chemicals that haven't been identified yet. To find out what inhaling all these chemicals is doing to our teens, I'm meeting with Dr. Anis Ahmed. He's treated teenage patients who have experienced side effects from vaping.
So doctor, what happens when someone starts vaping in their teens or even earlier?
There's a new terminology in science now. We call it e-vaping associated lung injury. The term is called EVALI. If you vape long enough, or if you vape with bad addictive products, you can have inflammation of the lung. We are starting to see 1 or 2 cases about that here.
Are the health risks greater when you start younger?
The earlier you start, definitely the higher the risk of you getting a cancer and lung injury. So let me show you this picture here. This is a picture of a 17-year-old boy who was vaping for a certain period of time. Then you can see that he's got a partially collapsed lung. We call it a pneumothorax.
Yeah.
This is likely because he had a bulla here. There's a pimple on the lung which bursts, and it caused his lung to collapse. He ended up going for surgery.
Would you say that vaping is as addictive as smoking?
I would say definitely, or even worse. I think the amount of nicotine delivered per vape is higher than delivered per smoke. And overall, the quantum, if you turn yourself into a closet vapor, you will probably be taking more. And nicotine affects the development of brain in a younger age group. I think the most understated effects of vaping is the effects on the heart. It has got very profound effects on the cardiovascular system. Because the concentration of nicotine delivery is higher per vape, and I think the effects of the heart is going to be even more. There have been some incidences and reports of lung irritation coming from secondhand smoke. The difference between smoking and vaping secondhand is that people hate secondhand smoke, you know. Non-smokers just don't like to be around smoke because it's in your face. But not so with vape, because I would say there's not an unpleasant smell around.
So should we not assume that secondhand vape is safe?
Yeah, I think so. This phenomenon is growing to probably an epidemic proportion soon. The long-term effects of secondhand vape will be defined then.
I actually found vape pods online that contain THC. Can you tell me more about that?
Medical-grade cannabis oil is now being ingested in the form of vape. It can be mixed with chemicals, which makes it a very bad toxic combination. And there have been a recent spate of deaths in the US because of this habit.
Like it or not, vaping is turning out to be the future of smoking, maybe even as a conduit for the substance abuse. And while it's illegal in Singapore, we're still getting our hands on it. Next week, I go across the causeway to track down the source of some of the vapes entering Singapore.
Some of the brands that you carry can be found in the Telegram groups in Singapore where they are selling the liquids. Do you monitor where your products go to?
And find out how the industry is sucking in our youths.
Malaysia is known for being one of the best juice makers in the world.